Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I need y'all to get y'all cameras ready. Turn y'all radios up. I don't think y'all ready for this one. We got Mr Yuck in the building. We got Ray Mays in the building. We really about to turn this shit up. I need MC to stand up. And why to stand up? Be more stand the fuck up. Let's get it.
Big bank take little bank. You are not this rich, this king don't miss Mr bitch pays ya. Heart ice cold like a glacier. Pops was a hustler, my brother was a gangster. Prankster, don't get punked, that's his danger. Trap been booming since 2 ways and pages. Yuck be with Shia, Ray Mays be with Major. Yeah, we independent, but we still sign the papers. Y'all ain't got no sauce, nigga, we be kicking flavors. Haters catch the fade like Odell and Tapers. Fighting fans like the Pistons and Pacers. Ron Artest, which one gon' test? I got some tricks up my...
Hello and thanks everyone for tuning in to another Tracey Kincade production. I am sitting here with Manny, most know on campus here at North Carolina A&T State University as a phenomenal artist. We're going to jump right in right now. We're talking about your latest sophomore album, which is titled
The Bay album.
Okay. How is this different from your work in the past?
Well, I think that it's probably my most intimate piece. I was a little more vulnerable as far as touching on things that related directly to me. A lot of times in the past I've talked about things as they relate to the world, but this time I wanted to share my personal story. So throughout the whole project I touched on things that were first-hand experiences, except for one song on the album where I sort of touched on a scenario or situation that happened to somebody really close to me that I wanted to share on the project because of how it impacted me and sort of changed my views of things. But this project is definitely my most intimate piece. It came straight from the heart. I mean, all of my music does, but like I said, this is like firsthand about me giving you my story. I feel like I wanted people to really know who I am as a person, as an artist, and where I'm headed to with this project.
Great. Now, a lot of us know you by Manny, but as far as an artist is concerned, you're known as Mr. Yuck.
Yeah.
Break that down for me, please.
Mike Ripper, your undercover killer, and as Mr. Yuck, I feel like I'm the voice of the oppressed. Mr. Yuck is sort of like an alter ego. Who I am as Manny is a little different than who I am as Mr. Yuck. I sort of channel a whole different energy, but everything I do as Mr. Yuck it's real organic and it's authentic, and I'm bringing real hip-hop to the table every single time, but I'm also speaking to those people who are in the oppressed states, and I'm trying to free those people with the bars that I give you as Mr. Yuck. And every time I am Mr. Yuck, you know, like even in the community and stuff, when I'm not, you know, being a rapper, I still try to be like the voice of the oppressed.
Yes, I can attest to that, because if I could just dip back on your previous works, very, I don't want to use the word militant, but
that's cool.
you know,
that's cool.
Very conscious, consciously
right.
aware of, you know, the state of African Americans, you know, as a whole right now. That's one of the things that really intrigued me about you, because you know, a lot of artists, hip hop artists now, are getting a lot of flack about the direction that they're going. But one thing about you, you really stand out as you know, bringing awareness on issues that we all should be focusing on right now as a whole.
Right.
So I definitely commend you in that aspect.
Thank you.
So as far as the creativity on the new project, the Bay project, who's responsible for all this dopeness that's poured into this thing?
There's actually a lot of people responsible for it, and that's another thing about me. I'll never take all of the credit. As far as the overall concept of things, I was challenged by Sire, actually. That's one of my partners I work with. He was like, I think that you should make an album about girls. And at the time when he said it, I just wasn't in that space yet. And I'm like, I don't want to make an album about girls. Like, everybody know you could give them bars. I want you to make a project, you know, that's catered to women, you know, talk about women. I'm like, that ain't really me. It just wasn't at the time. I like to write at a place where it's natural, it's organic, everything is coming from the heart, and I just wasn't there yet mentally. So I was like, I don't know about that. And then I fell in love, so I was like, kind of feels like, you know, this is the time to do this. So, you know, then my woman would be who inspired that part. She was kind of like my, what you call it, your muse or whatever.
Yes.
She kind of inspired a lot of it from a creative perspective. And then I had my son. He definitely, you know, inspired a lot of it, and I actually have him as the executive producer on the album, because throughout the second half of the album, he just pretty much spoke to me, and he wasn't even here yet, you know, but I felt like I could hear, you know, him talking to me and kind of directing me and navigating me through the album as I was working on it. And then my management team played a huge part in it. My manager, Aaron Amos, A-Dub, he held me down throughout the whole course of the project, and he challenged me to not just make an album about women or about my love story, but make, before anything else, which the BAE album, the acronym of BAE is before anything else, really make that make sense and mean a little more than just your BAE. What everybody assumes is your BAE. Before anything else is really about anything that you love so much, that you're so passionate about, that you're willing to put it before anything else, whether it be family, whether it be your passion for, mine is music, yours may be fashion or whatever the case is. But the things that you love, that you were willing to put before anything else, that's what this whole project is about. And then I just had a lot of dope people surrounding me at the time. My producers, my cousin Jameer, as always, Jameer Music comes through with the samples, it's crazy. Then one of my newer producers, Grip, my man Grip on the beat, he was there throughout the whole album, like piecing everything, laying it out for me, getting it exactly how I wanted it. And then my brother Jalen Rivers, also known as Chase, those who know him in the DMV area, he's also an artist, but he engineered the whole project, and that was really real to me, because me and him started out rapping together. So we was in a group called Writer's Block before all of this was, the Polar movement and all of this was here. I had Writer's Block when I was about 13, 14 years old. We started that group, and he engineered the whole project free of charge, just from the heart. And he stayed up countless nights when he was, you know, working on his own projects too. But he just wanted to make sure that my vision came to a reality. And then lastly, Jamar Skinner, he was the creative director of like all my artwork and my visuals for the album. And once again, like my budget for this album was not big at all. You know, most of the work that I got was free, because everybody believed in the vision, and we believed that we could do something that was bigger than the initial, you know, budget that we could set for it. Like, you can't really put a price on certain art. So. Right.
And when you say that everyone believed in the vision, I think that your things that you've done in the past, or the successes that you've had in the past, right, kind of, I would say, reassures, you know, anyone that's wanting to invest in you, you know, that their time or money will be well spent. Right. The Polar movement, let's just speak about that really quickly. Is there some type of business award or something that you're attached to, or some kind of title that you're attached to receiving?
I'm the CEO of the Polar movement. We've been on this campus probably since, I've been on this campus since 2013, and the Polar movement was really here before me. So it's been on the campus for a long time. Since I've been on campus, we've been, you know, awarded the best student-owned business a few times on campus. We've done a lot in the community. We work with everyone from the NAACP to every organization on campus, and we've really been putting, you know, our work in for a long time. And now we're just trying to expand, really, beyond like just this campus, beyond, you know, just college students. We're just really, as we're growing and maturing, we're trying to evolve the brand. So even from a lot of our clothes is militant, or, you know, has conscious meanings, we want to learn from the world around us and figure out how we can impact it on a bigger level now, and really broaden our horizons. So we want to, you know, be overseas. We want to be in stores. So that's what we're working on now, as far as the clothing aspect. And then just from a general brand perspective as well, you know, we just want to grow and really figure out how we can really change the crazy world we're living in right now, because it's definitely a need for what we do. And we just have to figure out how we can do it differently than everyone else is doing.
Any, I don't know why Shark Tank is coming to mind. You seem like a very good presenter of your brand.
I think what it is, it's funny because A&T actually had a Shark Tank type of competition before, and we didn't make it. And I think what it is our brand is built a lot on a vision, and Shark Tank is real financial, and they want to know about the analytics of things and all of that kind of stuff. And when you present our brand on paper, a lot of times it's hard to see that vision.
Gotcha.
For example, you know how Dame Dash always talks about being independent and self-made and being your own boss. But you Google Dame Dash's net worth, and sometimes it's in the negative. But if anybody who knows Dame Dash personally knows that Dame Dash has a lot of money, you Google my net worth, I'm probably in the negative. But anybody who knows me knows that I know how to get money, know how to make money, but a lot of the money that I'm spending is coming out of my own personal pockets. So when I gotta flip that, I gotta bring it out of my personal pocket. So sometimes I gotta hit rock bottom to get to the top and to do the things that we do. But I mean, that's something that we have to develop, that we have to find a way to channel all of our ideas and put it on paper in a way that looks well for an investor, because at a certain point in time, we're going to need more than our own investments to be successful. And that's one of the things that we're working on in-house to grow. But yeah, maybe we'll get there. And another thing too is Damon John, he was selling clothes 20 years ago and became rich off of that. So it's kind of, people who do that don't like to invest in the same thing that they've already done too. So I understand it from that perspective as well. So I mean, we just got to figure out our way and create our wave, you know, instead of riding a wave that a lot of people like to ride wave, and you know, we need to just create our wave and go in our direction and sort of figure out what works for us.
You mentioned that you've kind of been in this for a while, since age 13 or maybe sooner. So where are you, how far are you planning on, you know, staying in this thing as far as longevity is concerned? You know, are you in it for the long haul? Or
see, so like a lot of people think that like rapping is like, I'm gonna make it off of rapping and I want to be a rapper. Rapping is the only thing that you're gonna do. But rapping is one of those things that's shorter than a basketball career or NFL career. It's like, you know how players are good for 5 years and then you never hear about them again because they get old. Like, you can't, there's not a lot of 50-year-old rappers out there, you know? So if I'm 23 now and I haven't made it yet, my time frame to make it is getting shorter and shorter each year. I mean, you do have most of the hot artists, the real popular artists are older. They are in their mid-30s, even though they cater to younger crowds. 23, I know that the time is sort of ticking, and you know, the window is closing for me to make it, and that's the frustrating part about it. But then I got to remember that this is what I love. This is something that I was in the studio at 2 years old, you know, not knowing anything about it, just absorbing the atmosphere. At 5 years old, I was in the studio trying to write my own raps and figure out what I wanted to do there. And then this is something that I've loved longer than I've loved anything other than family for my whole life. So being a rapper is what I want to do, and I think that I have the talent to make it, and I'm confident in my ability, so hopefully I can make it. But once I make it, I got the mindset that I'm going to sort of globalize myself and my brand, and then I'm going to give back to the people in a way that I'm going to be needed, you know. So I'm going to be needed in the culture, so I'm going to have to be around for a long time. So I might just get in as a rapper, then, you know, use my communication degree and become a personality and put other unsigned artists on and start my own label and do something like that. So hip hop is something that I want to be a part of until I die. Being a rapper, I know that I probably have a 10, 15 year gap if I'm successful, you know. So I want my music to live on forever. I want my brand to live on forever, but I know I won't be rapping forever. I might be rapping in the closet forever, but I won't be rapping to the masses forever.
Understood. So right now, we mentioned, we're going to speak about, you know, you becoming a grad here in how many days?
Well, we got about 6, 7 days left. What's the 12th? What's today? The 3rd, 4th?
Yeah. So from recent, you're going to be a recent grad and also a recent dad.
Yeah.
When you really think about fatherhood and the first time that you actually, I guess, set eyes on that baby.
Yeah. Yeah.
What has that felt like for you?
It's like an undescribable feeling, and it's crazy how cycles sort of repeat in life. I remember hearing stories when I was younger. My dad was trying to do the same thing that I'm trying to do now, 23 years ago, you know, and then he had me, and everything sort of slowed down for him. And that was a decision that he made, you know, based off of taking responsibility and dealing with his number one priority at the time, which was me. And I literally, 23 years later, am faced with the same thing, except my dad didn't graduate school. I am graduating school. I had the woman of my dreams. I have, a bright future ahead of me, and I'm going to try to take on everything that I can and change it a little bit so that cycle repeats, but then it changes for the better, and that I can find a way to balance, family, music, entrepreneurship, and still be successful. So that's what I'm working on now. But to begin, I just wanted to let everything sort of sink in, and I wanted to love my son and become the best father that I can be up front. So a lot of people been hitting me up to perform, and I've been saying, I'm chilling on performing for a while. I recorded my album in enough time that I could put it out and promote it, but I haven't been in the studio every day or every week, and that's a decision that I've taken upon myself to make because I wanted to, really be a part of the early stages of my child development, because my dad is probably the most inspirational person to me, so I want to have that same impact on my son. But then I'm still thinking of ways to, create and figure out my next step and make my next move my best move, so that we can be in a situation that is beneficial for us all, and I can accomplish all the dreams that I want to as well. Everything I love that I put before anything else. Everything, whether it's my girl, she come before anything else. She come before any of these other joints. You know what I'm saying? First and foremost.
So, as you can tell, I'm joined here by two other very important members of Manny's life right now. Introduce yourself for me, please.
Cheyenne Clayton. I'm the mother of little Haslin and his woman.
Trey.
Something very special is about to take place here in a couple of days for you too as well,
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm also graduating in May. So in I think about 9 days, we're
And-
both walking.
Let me know what your degree or your
The same. So
concentration.
we're both journalism students. My concentration in public relations.
So now what's this thing about law?
So I want to be a lawyer. Always wanted to be a lawyer. Love to talk, love to debate and argue.
Oh, perfect match.
So yeah, we have some of the best debates. So yeah, I'm still looking forward to going to law school. I'm going to take a year off, make sure he's doing good, and then going to law school next year.
Awesome. Good. And man, just touch about also as far as your degree is concerned, your major.
So, as she stated, journalism student. My concentration is multimedia. So a lot of the work I've been doing has been in front of the camera, which is perfect for what I want to do. I haven't found a career yet after graduation. Still looking, but I'm thinking about going back home, so to the DMV area. Land any job I really can, with any company that needs, communications work. And from there, I'm just looking to get my foot in the door so that really I can fund my dreams and do what I want to do with, the polar movement and my music career and everything like that. But for now, I need to support these guys because, as you can see, they're pretty expensive. They're pretty expensive, even with the same shoes as me and stuff.
Cute. So let me ask you this. Now, I know that from the times that I've spoken with you, whether it was radio station or just really having classes with you, you rep culture to the fullest.
Right.
As far as your family is concerned, what statement are you making when it comes to culture?
Man, really, I'm making it's kind of like not even a statement that I'm making really, because from the beginning I was always taught that the man is supposed to stay at home and hold it down for his family, you know, and provide. And that's something that every man in my life from all levels has, you know, showed me. I haven't really seen firsthand a man not doing that, you know, from how I was raised. So providing is something that, you know, I was taught to do. And one of the things that my dad and my uncle told me when I found out I was having a family was, from here on out, it's not about you. And that's been the greatest advice that I've gotten, because that's one of the most humbling things that I've had to encounter, because I'm always in front of the camera, always kind of like the star in what I do. But now it's like, it's about them. With anything, if you're talking about going out to eat, I'm no longer thinking about what I want to eat, what they want to eat, what we want to eat. You know, when I get my check, it's like her check. You know, they spend it before I get it. So it's just a humbling experience, and it teaches you a lot about patience, a lot about like just working hard and grinding for something greater than you. So the statement that I'm trying to make is that, you know, black fathers, just like black artists, get a lot of flack about not, you know, having a message and something positive to present. And I'm trying to show you that it can be done for anybody out there who's going through a similar situation, and for those who are thinking about it, or just any guy that got a girl, you know, embrace her, you know, embrace her as the queen that she is. But you gotta really be a king, and being a king is more than being a king when everybody sees you on the throne. But when you at home and your throne ain't really your throne, you know, you sharing it with somebody else. So, you know, we got a lot of power, but sometimes we got to see the power in our queen and our little son too, right?
So let me ask you this now, Passion and Desire. You dropped that video when?
I dropped that video the day before the album. So the album dropped on the 15th. I think the video dropped on the 14th. Yeah.
And I think the last time I checked, it was nearing about 5,000.
Yeah, it got about like 5,000 views on YouTube. On Instagram and Facebook, it got a couple thousands too. So yeah, it's been circulating pretty well. I still wish it had more, but that's just, you know, that's marketing right there, and that comes from the budget that I didn't really have, you know. But yeah, we pushing for that. That's like one of the songs that stands out on the album, because I wrote that song when I first found out that he was coming into the world. You know, like I really just woke up in the morning, and that beat that Grip sent me, just for some reason that morning, I don't know what it was, but it's just like click, something just sparked in my mind, and woke up out the bed. And from that point on, I was like a madman, waking up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, every morning, not eating anything. It was like, I felt really like inspired and like driven at the time, yeah. But I didn't realize that I was low key insane at that time. Like I was going through like kind of like I don't know if it was a breakdown or a breakthrough, but it was a time where I was really like, felt like I had to do so much. Like life was gonna be so hard once he came, that I had to do all of this stuff, and I was going crazy, and like I would get real stressed and just sit in the house and not say nothing. We won't say anything to each other. She dealing with, you know, being pregnant and her mood swings, and I'm just in the house stressed, can't talk, can't eat. All I could do was rap, and that was the only thing that was keeping me going at the time. And that song kind of put all those emotions into one track, and I felt like that was the one right there. Like, if you know, when Kanye first came out with Through the Wire, and that was like his come out song, to me that was like my coming out party of the album. So yeah, that song meant a lot to me.
Let me ask you this now: you and Manny met here on campus?
Yes and no. My line sister kind of tried to hook us up, and I was kind of like, no, I don't think he's my type. And then I saw him at the Next Level White Party, and I was like, okay, he's kind of cute in person. He's kind of cute. And so that night, we kind of chilled, and it was a little awkward. He says that I was really awkward. I think I was pretty normal, but
she was weird that night.
I was pretty awkward. And then we kind of met up again, maybe like the next year, and it just kind of like clicked.
So as far as the evolution of Manny is concerned, from the time that you've met him and up until now, what are you most proud of, or what really brings that emotion to you? When you think about
So, from the time I met Manny, he's actually really grown, and seeing him grow into a father is what I'm really most proud of, because he was really hard on himself. And there was times that he didn't think that he would be able to give, Trey everything that he needed. But seeing them two together is incredible. Like, he loves his dad, and you can tell that Manny loves him so much. And so seeing him become a father, stepping up and, really providing for both of us without any question, it's really great to see him, form into that. Because a lot of young mothers, they don't really have that.
Yes.
So I'm really grateful that that's kind of how he has kind of grasped the whole thing.
Well, it seems like you two are very popular, not only on campus, as we were just interrupted by one of your biggest fans, but also scrolling through the Instagram, and I see, is it HBCU grads?
Kind of went crazy.
What in the world?
Yeah.
Now, and how did that happen? Did they just choose your senior pictures and your photos and upload it?
I couldn't even tell you how. A page called Because of Them, I believe, reached out to me. It was like, can we do a story on you guys? And so I told Manny, he wrote it up, we sent it to them, and from there, it was on Lovely Scott's page. It just kind of like blew up. And I just had a lady email me from Yahoo. She wants to write a story on us now. And so just that picture of like a man stepping up, doing what he has to do, graduating, me doing what I have to do, not letting a child, stop me from doing and continuing my dreams for him. I guess it just took hold and blew up.
Yeah, it's going viral. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's something special about seeing this. As you mentioned, a lot of people might not think that this is the norm when it comes to young people, young black, couples too. But I just have this strong feeling that this right here is the tip of the iceberg almost. I don't know what's going to happen, but something is going to happen. Something powerful is going to happen here. So I can just tell you right off, I'm extremely proud of you.
Thank you.
And just meeting you, I'm going to tell you also, I'm extremely proud of you as well.
Thank you.
Just to see, you both, having an interest in, the future of your child is just in itself amazing. So, as far as families coming together, I read somewhere where you're talking about the reception's going to be lit and something else. So, are we planning a wedding right now? We're going to wait a little while. What we're going to do?
Man, y'all think that I'm the person who put all these shows together and do all this stuff. She the big Showtime person. So
I told him, I said, you can definitely get down on that knee whenever you feel like it, because that's what a man is supposed to do. Whenever you feel like the time is right, perfect. But until I can have like my dream wedding, we're gonna just have to hold off on that. But I will definitely accept it. He already knows. But I really want it to be special.
Yes.
So I really feel like every woman should have that big day.
Yes, ma'am.
So yeah.
And something
We'll
tells me
see.
she deserves whatever she wants.
Right.
she all right.
She said whatever.
Me and Trey got to discuss what we're gonna do. We got to figure it out.
He's not hearing me right now.
No, Trey, we got to figure it out, right?
So is Trey carrying the Haslam name, the tradition?
Yeah.
Why was that important to you?
I don't know. It was kind of like a no-brainer. Like, since I was little, me just being a junior, and really I should be the third, but my grandfather didn't. His middle name is DeManny, so my grandfather wasn't Manny. My dad was Manny. I was Manny. So I'm like, I always wanted a son first, and that was like the thing that I was most scared about. Like, you can even ask her. I kept saying, hope I have a boy, hope I have a boy. I can't have a girl. Everybody was saying, it's gonna be a girl, it's gonna be a girl. So when he came, like, that name was already, it was there. That's kind of like what I dealt with growing up. So I was like, I'm gonna call him Trey. And I don't know, it was just like a no-brainer.
Well,
We were definitely thinking it was gonna be a girl.
And see, she didn't tell me that she didn't really want to call him Haslam at first or something like that.
It's okay.
Oh, okay, yeah, whatever. That was a no-brainer for me. It wasn't up for discussion.
let me ask you about some of the titles in the project as we, before before we bring to a close, but as far as tracks are concerned, name some of the top tracks that were really a reflection of, you know, your family at this point.
As far as family goes, like you said, Passion Desire, that's definitely a track that explains this situation. You Didn't Know kind of explained my life growing up. Passion Desire and What Am I wrote those like back to back. So those tracks both talked about like kind of, it was like continuation of the same thing. The title track, Bay, was about like us connecting at first, and Belong to You was it was about some struggles that we, like challenges that we had to overcome, and basically saying that, you know, we can do whatever we want to do, we gonna be all right, you know. Like Belong to You was, you know, just me expressing myself based off of, you know, opinions that other people that was close to us had about what was going on, and me being confident and kind of boasting about, you know, having her and treating her well. Better Half was that was the most touching track on the album, probably the saddest thing that I ever wrote, and it was about her sister, who also was pregnant before she was, the same year. So yeah, him and his cousin are 3 months apart, and so the father of the child died a week before her son was born, and I'm not that much of an emotional person to where I can kind of, like, I can't always say how I feel if I don't put it in a song. So it was eating me alive, and I wanted to find a way for myself personally, vent about the situation. But I really gave that song to her, being her sister, and I wanted to kind of give my condolences to the family that way. So I shared it with her, and she loved it. Like, her mom called me in tears talking about, "You were better than Jay-Z." Like, really? Like, you're better than Jay-Z. I swear you're gonna make it. You're so talented. Yeah. But that moment wasn't about me. It really was about how I felt about that situation, and me saying that no matter what, I'm always gonna be there, not only for my son and not only for your sister, but for you as my sister-in-law and him as my nephew. So it just was a touching moment. And then as far as other songs go that were like directly related to family, the song Ride, her mom was actually on the interlude leading into the song, talking about our relationship or whatever, and him having the swag like me, you know, that song. So a lot of the song Ugly was written about me expecting to have a girl, because I thought I was going to have a girl. So that's weird. I wrote that album in so many different stages that at one point in time I was writing songs to my daughter, because everyone kept telling me that it was going to be a girl. So I was writing songs of me expecting him to be a girl, and how I would show her how much I loved her by how I loved her mom. So just being an example that way. So I was already preparing for my life to be over. But then he came and the gear kind of switched, and then I wrote the track Furious Styles for my dad. He had a song when I was growing up that had the Luther Vandross and It's So Amazing sample. Yes. So I wanted to pay homage to him by doing that song, and I gave it I performed it for him at his birthday party, and then I threw that on the album. So a lot of the songs were highly related and heavily influenced by family. Oh, and the last song, Psalms 23. I'm not a Christian. I've read the Bible here and there, but you know, a lot of my views come from like an Islam point of view. Me being a 5%er and being affected and influenced by the nation of gods and earth, I sort of have different views at times. But a lot of my family are Christians, especially my grandparents. And my grandmother, it was the one scripture she always told me, and her mom used to tell me too: "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want." And I didn't really understand it at the time, but for some reason, this track, I heard the song and I started writing to it, and I was like, I think this scripture fits this song. So I wanted to give that, because I was talking about like family and just, you know, how bad I wanted to make it in the music business, and, you know, to give back to the people that, you know, put me here when I made it, and I just felt like it fit perfectly. So that song kind of summed up the whole album, and that's why I put it as the outro. So.
Okay, so as far as samples are concerned, there were a lot of crazy samples, dope samples throughout the song, throughout the tracks. Let our viewers know, where can they take a listen to it?
So the album can be found on all streaming platforms. It's Mr Yuck, the Bay album. Once again, stands for Before Anything Else, but it can be found Tidal, Apple Music, iTunes, Spotify, Amazon, Pandora, all of those places. Anywhere there's a streaming platform, it can be found on all of those streaming platforms. You can also find it on www.thepolarmovement.com, where you can find everything about Mr Yuck and the Polar Movement as well. So just check it out. And on all social media platforms, it's Mr Yuck_PKE. Well, that's on Instagram and Twitter, I'm sorry. Then you can find me at Mr Yuck on Facebook. You follow Baby Trey Paris too. My man. This is the executive producer, y'all. Tell him, Trey. Tell him, Trey.
One last question for you. How does it feel having found the name that's awesome?
Great. I mean, I don't know. It's like, I really can't describe it. It's really good having somebody like Manny. So, you know, we're just really grateful that we have him. He's not going anywhere.
I want to thank you all for being here. Thank you, Trey, for showing up. You were a pleasant surprise.
Say thank you, Auntie Tracey. Thank you, Auntie Tracey. Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching another Tracey Kincade production. Stay tuned for the next.